The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul, and he leadeth me into the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever and
I imagine we'll punch a hakodam, stand and face east. Rakata Yahweh, Ahawa, Nathan Lanawa, Awar, Ashabah, Ashalom. So Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Wadash, Ayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'am, Batazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashamayim, Nathalanawa, Acham, Kol, Yawam, Basalachnawa, Hawabwatnawa, Hasalachnawa, Hawabwatinawa, Wala'am, Abiyanawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashainawa, Man, Hai, Hayah, Bakam, Amalakwa, Ba'ala, Watapa,
us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make to you images nor serve them. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet anything which is of your neighbor.
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Shemai, Lenawa, Haitham, Shalak, Hayata'ala, Walahayim, La, Shemaiah, Yeshur Allah, Barak, Yeshur Allah, Rapah, Yeshur Allah, Shemaiah, Abiyat Tzapayim, Barak, Abiyat Tzapayim, Rapah, Abiyat Tzapayim, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, the water, Amen.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, hear us now. Send Michael and the angels to watch over Israel. Bless Israel and heal Israel. Watch over the schools, bless the schools, and heal the schools in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, Amen.
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Shemai, Lenawa, Haitham, Shalak, Ahabim, Rapayim, Shalawamim, Barakim, Chayim, Aliyim, Shaqualim, Lahakiwa, Lahabiyat Tzapayim, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, the water, Amen.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, hear us now. Send love, plenty of healings, plenty of peace, plenty of blessings, plenty of spirituality upon us, plenty of finances to the brothers of their schools, and name Yahweh Shai. Thank you, so be it.
Repeat the Hebrew only. Blessed are you, Yahweh, to give to us the Lord. Barakatah Yahweh. Hahawa'ah. Nathan Lanawa. After war. Blessed are you, Yahweh, that give to us light to see. Barak atah Yahweh.
Barak atah Yahweh.
Ahawa'ah. Nathanawa. Awar. Lara'ah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, that give to us the ram's horn to call the people. Barak atah Yahweh.
Barak atah Yahweh.
Ahawa'ah. Nathanawa. Ayah. Koran. La Koran. Ha'ain. Blessed are you, Yahweh, that give to us the fruit of the vine. Barak atah Yahweh.
Barak atah Yahweh.
Ahawa'ah. Nathanawa. Agapin. The water. Aman. Shabbat. Be seated.
Shalom. We're in the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter.
This is Exodus chapter 12 and 1 in the Hebrew. Waya'amah Yahweh Amashah Wa'al Aharon Baratazah Matazayim La'amah HaChadash Hazalakam Ra'ash Chadashya Ashwan Wa'alakam La Chadashya Hashana Debawa Al Kol Aidat Yasher Allah La Amar Ba'aishira La Chadash Hazah Wayachwakwa Laham Ayasha La Bayat Abasha La Bayat Wa'am Yama'id Habayat Ha Mahayawak Masha Walachwa Hawa'a Washakhanwa Ha Bayatwa Bamachasa Na Pashat Ayash Lapwa Akalwa The Kaswa Ail Hasha Shah the Mayam Zakah Ban Shana Yahayal Kamman Hakabashyam Waman Ha'aizyam the Kwakwa Wahayalakam Lama Shamaraf Aid Araba'aya Aishirayawum La Chadash Hazah Washa Khatwa Wa'akwa Kol Kwahal Aidat Yesha Allah Bayan Ha'ai Rabiam Wala Kwakwa Man Hadam Wanathan Wa'ail Shakwa Hamaza Wazakwa Ail Hamashakwa Ail Habathya Mashura Yakalwa Akwa Baham.
We're in the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter in English. All right. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. So the Most High is making it known to us that the beginning of the month, this was the beginning of the month that He instituted with us. All right. And this month began with the month of Abib. All right. So this was a springtime when this month began, not in the winter season. All right, the second verse. Okay, I read that. The third verse. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. So what the Most High was saying, right, that every family, every household had to get a lamb, all right, according to the household. So this lamb had to be prepared for the day of the Passover. So every household had to get this lamb prepared. All right? This was while we were in Egypt.
right? As Hebrew slaves in Egypt, right? Reading on. The 5th verse. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. So the 14th day at evening represents the 15th day. All right, the 14th day at sundown, when the sun went down, that began the 15th day. All right, and that's when we killed the Passover. All right, so a day ends and begins when the sun goes down. All right, society said 12 o'clock midnight, but according to the Most High, a day begins when the sun rises and when the sun goes down. That begins the day. So when the sun went down today, that made the 15th day, which would be the Passover today. All right? That's how the Most High gave us his calendar. Society does everything backward, contrary to the Most High's way of life. All right? So that's why we as a people have to come back into the natural order of things that the Most High established. Okay, we're in the 6th verse. Actually, we're in the 7th verse. And they shall take of the blood and strike it upon the 2 side posts and on the upper door posts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. All right, so these were the requirements when we killed the Passover, what the Most High told us to do while we're in Egypt with Moses. All right, so that's it.
We're in verse 8 to 14 in the Hebrew. Wa kolwa habasha balayala haza tazalia ash wama tazawa ayel marayam ya kalawa ta kolwa ma manwa na bawa shal ma shal bamayam kaya tazalia ash wa ashwa ayel karayawa wa ayel Rabwa wala tawatha yawa maman wa aid bakwa wahanatha maman wa aid bakwa baash tasharapwa wa kakatha kalwa afwa mathan yakam kagayam na ail yakam bawa gal yakam wama kwalkam bayatkam wa kalatham Akwa baka paswan pasak hawa layala wa I raptaya barataza martazayam balayala haza wahaka ya kal baka war barataza martazayam madam wa I bama waba kal alahaya martazayam aisha aisha Shapatyam Anya Yahweh Wahaya Hadam Lakam Wa La'af Ayel Habatyam Ashura Aftam Sham Waya Ayataya Af Hadam Wa Pasathaya Ayel Kam Wala'a Yahaya Bakam Nagab Lama Shakya Pama Baha Katya Baratiza Martazayam Wahaya Waha Hayawam Haza Laham Lazakawan Waha Gatham Akwa Ha La Yahawa La Deratyakam Kahwat Iwalam Kahak Kahagawa.
Okay. We're in Exodus 12th chapter, starting from the 8th verse. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. So this particular night, the night of the Passover, is the night that we take the lamb, right? We roast it with fire, understand? And then, look, Moses says, eat it with unleavened bread.
And it'll explain as we go on down why unleavened bread. All right? Unleavened bread, like we explained earlier, has no yeast in it or any leavening agent that causes the bread to rise. All right? So just try to remember that the whole week. Nothing with any leavening agents and or yeast that causes the bread to rise. Meaning pies, cakes, all that stuff, you should not be eating. All right? Bread and all that should not be eaten. All right? But the Most High said roast it with fire. Understand? So the lamb had to be roasted with fire. Understand? And then it says, and with bitter herbs shall you eat it. The herbs you eat should be bitter herbs. All right? And you can locate bitter herbs. They have the different kinds like horseradish. They do have the kind that looks like lettuce. There are different kinds of bitter herbs. But this is what the Most High told Israel to do coming out of Egypt. All right? Then it says, 9th verse, eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water. Meaning, you're not supposed to, like make a gravy with it. All right? You know how Jake is. They like things with gravy, sodden with gravy, right? Well, that's what the Most High told us not to do with this lamb. All right? Just eat it, roast it with fire, and then that's how you eat it. You're not even supposed to really season it. Understand? So, no gravy, no sodden with water, but roast with fire. His head, his legs, and on the purtenance thereof. See? Roasted with fire. 10th verse says, ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning. Meaning, we're supposed to roast the lamb, right? At sundown, have the lamb, but you can't let none of it remain until the morning. In other words, whatever you don't eat, then you're supposed to throw away and bury it or whatever you're going to do with it, but you're not supposed to eat it. All right? It shouldn't remain until the morning like you're going to eat it for the next day. Understand? Your food is supposed to be fresh. Even in the whole 7 days, it should be fresh. You should not eat leftover foods. Understand? Cook your foods fresh, eat it that night, and then that's it. The next day, don't have that same food. You put in the refrigerator, put foil over it, and then say you won't have it next day. That's not what the Most High was to do this whole 7 days. Eat your food fresh. All right? Then it says, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. See? So the lamb that is left over, he said, burn it with fire. All right? Burn it with fire. So you're not supposed to have it even in your house the next morning. Burn it with fire. And 11th verse says, and thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. So what the Heavenly Father is teaching us here is that he said, with your loins girded. See, that's why we stress in the Passover, brothers have their garments, they have their girdle on, which goes around your loins, your waist, right? And it said your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. So why did the Lord say do all this? Because we were leaving Egypt in haste. Understand? So he wants to be prepared to get the heck out of there. And today, America's modern day Egypt. You still got to be prepared spiritually this time to be ready to get out of here. Understand? So this is the ceremony of the Lord's Passover. You got to be girded, your loins girded, your staff, your shoes on your feet, your garment on, and be ready to leave bondage, to leave captivity. All right? Then it says in 12th verse, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn of the land of Egypt. See? And this is Yahushua. Yahushua said he's going to pass over and smite all the firstborn of Egypt. Right? So Yahushua is bringing the death angel. And he's saying for the nation of Israel, be prepared. Because after this death angel, be prepared to leave. Understand? Same thing in America today. The death angel's still going to come. This is modern day Egypt. The death angel's still coming. Understand? But this time it's going to be done with fire. Right? It's going to be done with fire this time. But it's still going to be brought by Yahushua. He brought the death angel back then. In ancient Egypt, we're going to bring it this time in modern day Egypt. That's America. All right? So we still got to be prepared mentally, spiritually in these last days. So he said he would smite all the firstborn of Egypt. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. This time in modern day Egypt, he's going to smite everybody. It ain't going to get the firstborn, it's everybody. He's going to take his chosen out, and guess what's going to happen to the rest of America? That's it. See you later. No more Americans. Finished forever, brother. Finished forever. Understand? So it ain't just going to be the firstborn, it's going to be everybody. Okay? Firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, fifthborn, everybody. Everybody. Mom, pops, everybody. Grandmother, granddaughter, grandfather, everybody. Okay. Both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt. How about that? Even all the false gods of Egypt. I will execute judgment. I am Yahushua. I am the Lord. See? So Yahushua is going to bring it. He's going to bring it in these times also. All right? And 13 verse says, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. So now, you had to put the blood on the doorpost. So you take, you kill the lamb, you take the blood, because the blood's going to drain out of it, and then take the blood. See, the blood wasn't even wasted. Even the blood wasn't wasted. The blood was so the Most High could see it on the doorpost, and then pass by. As the death angels passing by, killing everybody, all the firstborn, it sees the blood on your doorpost and passes by. That's what it means by Passover. Passing over your house, you see the blood. Now, if you were a stubborn one, didn't put no blood up there, what happened? You would put to death. You would put to death. So what's going to happen in these modern day times? If you're the stubborn one and didn't want to take heed to what Yahushua is teaching us, see, about get prepared. If you're that stubborn one, what's going to happen? You're going to be put to death. See? All because of stubbornness. Understand? Pride. You're filled with pride. And you think that you know it all. You don't need to hear this anymore. You don't need to hear the word. Understand? So they're going to be put to death. The same thing happened back then. All right? So we had to put that blood on the doorpost. Then it says, 14th verse, and this day shall be unto you for a memorial. How about that? What's the memorial? Something that you keep in remembrance. See? So who are these brothers that say you don't have to keep the Passover? Who are they? Tell them to get out of here. See? You still remember it. Yeah, we're not going to keep it like we did it in ancient time when we were in the land of Israel in America, but you can remember it. Understand? That's what we're doing here. We're remembering it. So who says that? See? That's why the Lord said, that's that spirit of Antichrist. See? So the Most High said, any man that teach the commandments of the Most High, yeah, that man, his name will be written in the kingdom of heaven. But any man that don't teach, that tell men don't keep the commandments, what's going to happen to that man? See? Understand? They're going to be put to death. You want to teach men about the commandments and teach them how to keep the laws, whether they keep it or not. It's on them. But you still want to teach the commandments and the ceremonial laws. All the laws of the Most High. Okay, and then it says, the rest of it, and ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. Understand? All right, shalom.
We're in verse 15 to 21 in the Hebrew. Shabbat Yawamya Ma Tizawatha Kalwa Ak Ba Yawam Hara Ashwan Tashaba Yahwa Sha'a Ma Bath Yakam Kaya Kalakal Hamataza Wanakatha Tana Pash Hahawa'a Maya Sharala Maya Wam Hara Shawan Aid Yawam Hashabaya Wabaya Wam Hara Ashwan Makwara Kwadash Wabaya Wam Hashabayaya Makwara Kwadash Yahaya Lakam Kal Malakala Ata Aisha Baham Ak Ashura Ya Akal pashawa la batwa ya aisha la kum washa matham hama tazawakaya by tazam hayawam haza hawa tazaka yakaya tazabawat yakum barataza matazayam washa matham hayawam haza la the rat yakum khawat I walam bawa ashan bawa ba'ay shira yawam la khadash ba'ay rab the kolwa matazaf ayd yawam ha'achad wa'ay shira la khadash ba'ay rab shaba'ayt yawam yam sha'ala ya matazab ba yakam kaya kolakol maha matazab wana kata hana pasha wa'a ma'aidat yasha'ala ba gar waba az rach ha'arataza kol machamatazat la'a va kolwa ba kol mawasha bat yakam da kolwa matazawa waya kwara mashala kol Zakwanya yasha'ala waya ama alham ma shakwa wakwakwa lakam taza'an lama shapakhat yakam washa khatawa ha pasak.
Okay, we're going to continue on in the 15th verse, Exodus 12th chapter. Everybody there? Good? Good? We're going to proceed from there. Continue on. The scripture says, 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. So therefore, the Most High is telling us, like we spoke earlier, before we came today, we should have put leaven out of our homes. Okay, no bread, no cakes, no cornbread boxes, no mixes. We should only try to take that out of our homes. Okay? It goes on to say, for whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that's from today, tonight, until Saturday sundown. Whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, thou shalt be cut off from Israel. That's referring to cutting off from the blessings of Israel. Right now, back in Egypt during that time, the Most High meaning to be cut off, you mean actually cut off. You were put to death back then. Because if you didn't follow Israel, you were left in Egypt. And if you didn't put your blood on the door, what happened? You were put to death. So the death angel came and killed you. So you was cut off from Israel. But now, when we're going to do this now, that means we're going to be left out of the blessings of Israel. Because as you know, the Most High chose one nation. We can't get around that. There's no way around it. The Most High chose one nation of people. That's the children of Israel. Even though he created all nations on earth, he created everybody. But he chose one. We can't get around it. So therefore, if we don't follow the Most High is going to cut us off from those blessings. Even though we might catch hell, and we're on the tail end, and we also borrowing from other nations, the Most High punished us for what we did, but the Most High is going to bless us and bring us out of it, mentally and physically. So therefore, if you don't continue following the commandments, he's going to cut you off from the blessings of Israel. That's why we're here. Verse 16. In the first day, there shall be the holy convocation. That's now. Convocation means gathering. This is the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Holy gathering. And in the seventh day, there should be a holy convocation to you. So the end of the Feast of Unleavened Bread is another gathering. So the first day and the last day is going to be a gathering. Only holy convocation, a true gathering. No manner of work shall be done in them. That means it's signifying as a Sabbath day. Tonight is a Sabbath day. And as you know, on the Sabbath day, we've got to refrain from things that we normally do during the week. The Most High blessed this day. Save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. So as you know, during a regular Sabbath day, the Most High didn't want us kindling in fire. He didn't want, you're not supposed to actually cook on the Sabbath day. Okay? But this Sabbath day, Passover, the Most High said He'll allow you to cook on this day. So that's what it means by save that which every man must eat, meaning that you have to cook that on that day. All right, the Sabbath a little different. Okay? Verse 17, and you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this same self day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Now, this same day, same night, years ago, we left the land of Egypt. The same day. And how do we know that? We count by the new moon. The new moon is the first day of the month. And we count 14 days from that point on. So this same day tonight in history, the Most High brought us out of the land of Egypt. We escaped with Moses. That's no fairy tale. When we left Egypt, it's no fairy tale. That was real. True history. That's our history. So the same day, those years ago, we left the land of Egypt. That's what I'm so happy about. The same exact day, right now, years ago, the Most High brought us out of the land of Egypt. And it goes on to say, I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. When I say armies, I mean there was a lot of us. Scripture said it was over 600,000 that were just men. That didn't count the children and women. So it's about millions that we left Egypt. It wasn't 3 or 4 of us, or 70 that went in. The scripture said armies out of the land of Egypt. So you know how many people left Egypt through the Red Sea? A whole lot of us. Okay? Therefore, you shall observe this day in your generations by ordinance forever. Forever. Until the Most High changes that. All right, so every year I expect you to be here. Maybe not this congregation, but some congregations should be there worshiping. Okay? Verse 18. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. So basically what we said earlier, until Saturday night sundown, we're going to be unleavened bread. Verse 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel. The congregation meaning the people. All right? You don't be cut off from that. Most High going to bless us. Because Most High can cut you off spiritually, physically. He definitely can do financially. You know, we all look at finances as being a source of life. Most High can cut you off if He chooses to. But He likes when you try. When you try to follow the Most High commands. That's what He asks for. It's not hard. 7 days just eat no bread. We all can do that. It's not hard. The Most High laws are not burdens to us. We can refrain from some things. And it's for a reason. It doesn't say because He wanted to. It's for a reason why the Most High created these laws. All right, so you don't want to be cut off from the Most High congregation of Israel, the commonwealth of Israel. Okay, we're all included into that. Whether he be stranger or born in the land. So basically, back in those days, we had strangers that cleaved upon us. They followed us. There were some Egyptians that said, hey, I believe in your power. I'm going to go with you. It's going to be like that today. Other nations are going to cleave onto us. They're going to follow the Most High. But how are they going to do it? They got to cleave onto us. We got to hold their hand and break them through. They can't do it by themselves. Because Israel is the one nation. That's going to lead everybody. Those that want to come. Okay? So back then, the strangers came, even unto this day now. Okay? Or born in the land. So there was people that were born in the land that claimed unto Israel as we left Egypt. Okay? Verse 20. You shall eat nothing leavened in all your habitations. You shall eat unleavened bread. So basically, all your habitations, meaning not just your home this week. So whenever you go to somebody else's house, whether it's your house or not, you still should eat unleavened bread. Just not your house. Okay? So you visit somebody, your family, who doesn't really believe in this, and they offer you, hey, we got some cornbread tonight. You say, no, I don't want cornbread tonight. You ain't got to tell them why, unless you choose to. It's good to tell them why you're not eating unleavened bread. But even when you leave your home this week, all your habitations, eat unleavened bread. Verse 21. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, now he called the leaders, the elders, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families. Now, according to your families, meaning you're not supposed to be greedy. You take a lamb just for your family. You got 3 people in your family, take enough a lamb just for that. Don't be greedy. If your family can't hold a whole lamb, you share with somebody else. According to your families, and kill the Passover. That Passover means kill the lamb. And we're going to explain more what that means later on in the house shop. Cut?
We're in verse 22 to 28 in the Hebrew. Walakwatam agadab azawab waterbaltham badam asherah basab wahagaitham al hamashakwa al shakya hamazawaza man hadam asherah basab wa'atham la'atha tazawa ayash Mapathak bayakwa ay bakwa wa ay rab Yahweh lana ga'a matazayam wa ra'a hadam ayl hama shakwa wa ayl shakya hama zawaza wa pasak Yahweh ayl hapakha wa la'ayathan hama shakya la ba'al Batyakam lanagab, washa martham abhadabahazah, lakwak, laka, wala banyaka ay walam, wahayakaya, the ba'awa al hawatiza shara, yathan yahawalakam, kashara deba, washa martham al haibadahazah, wahayakaya. Ya amawa al yakam ban yakam ma ha'ai bada haza'at lakam wa amatham zabak pasak hawa'a la yahawa shara pasak ayl bathya banyam yasha'ala ba matazayam bama bana gakwa'a matazayam wa'a Bathya ha-tazayal waya quad ha-aim waya shaf chawa waya kalwa waya aishwa banyam yasha'ala ka-ashira tazawa yahawa masha wa aharan kan aishwa.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Put you to sleep. We're going to continue in Exodus 12th chapter from the 22nd verse all the way to the 28th in English. 22nd verse. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out, at the door of his house until the morning. Now, the reason that Most High is doing this in the 22nd verse, he said you take a bunch of hyssop. The hyssop is a herb. It is a cleansing herb. And then you mix it with the blood. So what the Most High was doing, he was preserving Israel from the death angels. He was making preparation for us to leave Egypt. And also that blood is Yahushua as well. And when the Most High speaks about roasted lamb in fire, and if any left over in the morning, you burn it with fire. The Most High deal with a lot of fire. And that fire represents the purification. And if you look at Yahushua was a brother that had no guile in his mouth. Pure unto death, right? Right? Okay, so this whole Exodus, the 12th chapter, that's who is represented. It's representing Yahushua. Okay, we was under his blood then, and we're under his blood now. Right? That's why we're still here. That's why we got the grace. That's why the mercy is still here. That's why the truth is still here. You understand? And that's why the Most High said, look, keep this Passover in Egypt. Keep it in one house. We said, don't go from house to house now. You know, because the Most High know us. We're a hell of a people, man. The Most High know we would get grimy with everything. He gave us his laws. He know we'll try to play it. He know we'll try to come up against it. That's why he created us. He already knew that. But he loved a good challenge. That's why he gave us laws. He knew once the Passover over, once we do it, we're going to try to go somewhere else and eat their lamb. He knew that. That's why he said, don't leave none in the morning, burn it with fire. Because we couldn't do it in Egypt. If we had left one house and went to another house in Egypt, the death angel would have got us. Right? So you couldn't be traveling, hey, let's go and see these brothers. Let's keep it in one place. Let's keep the Passover in one place. We ain't got to travel. Okay? So the 23rd verse. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel, you see what it say? It said when he see the blood. When who see the blood? The Most High. But the Most High is directing that destroying angel. It said when the Most High see it, then he's going to give orders to that destroying angel. Well, you see that Israelite house right there? They don't have that blood up there. Take them out. See, the Most High have to see that. Then he gives the order. It comes on down to Yahushua. It comes on down to the destroying angels. Okay? So that blood played a great part. You had to put that blood on the post. If you was hard-headed back in those days, you was taken out. And if you're going to be hard-headed today, you're going to be taken out, man. We under the blood now. All the Most High wants us to do is to believe and obey. Con? To believe and obey. It wasn't about us being delivered. It wasn't consist on our morals that we did anything good. It was because of the Most High's grace and his mercy. That's why he delivered us. Anything that we get away with or cheat death or get hurt and live and so forth, it's because of the Most High's grace and mercy. Not because any righteousness that you did. Because the Most High said all our righteousness like filthy rags, man. So the Most High knew that we was going to get grimy with Passover, the feast days and everything. We was going to make a big party out the thing. Yeah, I mean, it's a joyful festival, but remember where it came from, how it was set up. While we was feasting in Egypt, having a good time with the Passover, there were Egyptians all around us being put to death. Old men, old women, children, yeah, animals, yeah, the royal family. While we was feasting now, getting ready to get out of Egypt, dealing with the Most High, everybody else around us was being put to death. So that's how we should remember this Passover. You understand? And when you read on down in the scriptures, it said when your children ask, what are these things are for? Why are we doing this? Then you tell them. You tell them and teach them about the captivity of the Egyptians. You teach them about the captivity of the Americans. The captivity under the Africans, the Philistines, the different battles that we fought these nations. Look, it's not a shameful or a harmful thing to teach your children about their enemies. See, we get all caught up in this American thought of mine that, no, that's hate. No, you teach your children who their enemies are. So when they go out in society, they know to watch their back when they're in Howard Beach. They know to watch their back when they're over in Bayside. See, if you teaching them that, hey, everybody love you, they just go out, Johnny go lucky, watch that baseball bat. Then they're going to have problems, right? So you teach them, like the scriptures say, about their enemies, about the captivity. You want to say something there?
Yeah, and when we say Egyptians, we're not talking about the modern day people you see in Egypt today. Talking about those are not the Egyptians, all right? The true Egyptians are pushed out of Egypt. They live in the Sudan and parts of Africa, all right? The true Egyptians were black people. The people in Egypt, they are none but Arabs and Ottoman Turkish babies. They are not Egyptians. And they push out in society, the people of Egypt. Hosni Mubarak, those are not even Egyptians, okay? So don't even think that's the Egyptians the Bible is talking about. See, what this European did, he distorted history and put everybody, misplaced history and put everybody in a piece of puzzle to fit his equation to his evil doings. All right? Go ahead, Archie.
That's it. Let's finish the 23rd verse. I'm going to read it again, get to the bottom. For the Most High will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. So the Most High meant for us, when you put the blood on those posts, he meant for you to stay inside. So you couldn't rush anything, therefore you couldn't rush salvation. The Most High said, you wait upon me, you wait for your salvation. I will bring that, right? See, we try to rush things, we try to start revolutions and all that. No, it's not about us. It's not about us starting our own salvation. It's the Most High. Okay, let's read the 24th verse. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. So this Passover is forever. Not because we came into captivity, we stop it now. No, the Passover is forever. We ought to keep it forever. Okay, as a nation. It's not going in, it's not going to stop. Okay, now the 25th verse. And it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. So it's a continuous service. 26th verse. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? Every child in here should know what Passover represents. It's up to the parents to teach them that. See, they should know about the captivities. Their parents have to teach them that. They should know about how great we were and when we ruled the world. They should know about King David. They should know about Yahushua. They should know about the apostles. They should know about the great salvation that the Most High has for us in the future. Your children should know those things. Okay, because when they learn these things, they put a whole different spirit on it. Okay, because they have to go back and forth in this society, and you see what's out there now, right? Lesbianism, sodomites, all types of stuff is all over the place. Okay, so therefore you have to put this in them. Okay, let's read on. 27th verse. That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and they worshiped. 28th verse. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Most High had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. So we know in this society, when this society New Year's come, they have what? A New Year's resolution, right? So this is our New Year. So we all should have a New Year resolution, right? To move forward.
Right.
Because I'm going to tell you something. Negative in the nation or in a congregation, it only takes for negative and division to happen and start 2 weeks to a month. Don't take long. But to build the congregation of people back spiritually, mentally, and on a physical level, it takes 6 months to years. You understand? So the resolution is moving forward. Putting our minds together, putting our spirits together, and moving forward. You understand? Being a better father, being a better daughter, being a better husband, a better wife, a better son-in-law, a better daughter-in-law, a better son, a better daughter. You understand? That's the resolution. So think on that. And as a nation, moving forward. Con? Con. That ain't everybody. Con? Con. All right.
Yeah. Everybody sleeping? Bored? Want to spice it up? All right, so we got to spice it up, right? Let's make it more interesting and bring it to a level where we could see and focus what we're talking about. Because when we read the scriptures, right, we're reading about history. We're reading about events that took place in the past. When the Most High dealt with us as a nation of people, remember this. The Most High deals with us in 3 different phases. I'm going to name the phases that he deals with us. Past, present, and future. That's how the Most High deals with us. All right? History deals with the past, the present, and your future. And when you come to the conclusion of why we as a people are in the condition that we're in, you have to go back to your past. It was an old black historian, not a historian, I should say, a black revolutionist that says a people without the knowledge of their past history is like what? Finish this quote. Let me see if y'all know his famous quote. Who knows this quote? He said, a people without the knowledge of the past history is like a tree without its roots. All right? And that's us as a people. We're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And what we're reading here tonight is history that happened in the past. And that's what we're reading. What the Most High did for us when we came out of Egypt, which is in Africa, North Africa. All right? What took place in Egypt was death and destruction. Because the Egyptians had oppressed us in the land of Egypt. So the Most High had to deliver us with Moses. Now Moses wasn't Charleston Heston, like you saw in the 10 Commandments. when Charleston Heston got up, let my people go. And he came to Pharaoh, and you saw this white boy in the throne. Sister, what's his name? Yul Brenner. Now, that was not the Egyptians, people. All right? The Egyptians were black, so-called black people. The Israelites were so-called black people. 2 black nations, but different. Same complexion, but different nation. One was African, Hamitic, and one was Hebrew, Shemitic. Today the white man say, oh, anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic. There's no such thing as anti-Semitic. It's Shemitic. We're Shemitic. We're the Shemitic people. And what they did, they covered up our history through conspiracy, lies, blatant distortion, and disrespect. That's what they did. The whole curriculum of their school system is based on lies and hatred towards us. And everything is based towards the so-called European Jews as being the people of the Bible. Barack Obama just came back from Israel. In society, they cut him what? They cut him back jobs, pensions. They cut him back in everything. But was any deficit or any budget cut from Israel? A couple months ago, Barack Obama gave Israel $50 billion. And he said in 2017, they're going to continue getting more military and economical aid. Why is they getting all this money and financial aid? Because the world been taught that they're the people of the Bible. You understand? So that's the big cover-up. And you want to know why you don't have no benefits in the black community. Why the black community is in disarray. Why we don't have the things that they have. Because they don't give a damn about you and they don't respect you and they're covering up your history. Yeah. Yeah.
But so you brothers and sisters can understand, in ancient Israel, we should stand for hours, and the priests would read the law for hours. So you think, we're taking a long time up here now? Wait till we get back in the wilderness, brother. And you're going to have to be patient. And you have to listen. And you can't say or utter a word. All right? We would stand for hours, and Ezra and them were on the pulpit on the Feast of Tabernacles. And he would have the men standing with him, and he would read the law. And then he would break down the law. The book is a book of laws. You know how long that took? All 600 of them. You had to wait and be patient. See? So if you think this is boring, wait till you get to wilderness. See? You better not utter a word either. See? So as Israelites, we got to come back to who we are. See? The reason why we're impatient because we're coming from the world. The world is fast. Right. Esau. I said Esau. Esau bred that nature in you. I want what I want right now. Hurry up, give it to me. No. The Most High is eternal. Understand? So that's why we got all these different problems, anxiety and panic attacks. So we went short attention span, ADD and ADHD and whatever that stuff is. Because why? Because what Esau's world has brought us to this madness. So we got to be patient. Understand? So the brother's gonna go. He's gonna read the Hebrew, and we're gonna get through it. See? We're gonna get through it. See? And look, we got to be patient and wait on Yahushua, right? And the Mosai say, ain't nobody going to tell me when I'm coming. See? He said, no man going to, push his hand, force the Mosai's hand. Judas Iscariot tried that. See? You can't force the Mosai's hand. Understand? So the Mosai going to bring it when he get ready to bring it, and you got to wait for it. See? So we got to do this thing together and be patient. In the spirit of the Most High and Yahushua. Come.
Verse 29 to 35 in the Hebrew. Wayahaya bachatizaya halayala wayahawa haka kaba kawa baratiza matizayam mabaka Paraiha, Ayashab, Ayel Kasawa, Ay, Bakawa, Hashabya Shira, Baba Yakaba, Wako, Bakawa, Bama, Wayakwam Paraiha, La Yalahawa, Wako, I Badyawa, Wako, Matazayam, Wakahaya, Taza Aikwa, Gadala Bama Tizaya Kaya Yan Baya Ashura Ayan Shama Wayakwara La Masha Wala Aharan La Yala Waya Ama Kwa Wamwa Tizawa Matawa Aim Ya Gum Atham Gum Banyam Yasha'ala Walakwa Ibadwa Af Yahawa Kada Wayakam Gum taza ankam gum ba kwakam kwakwa kashira de batham wa lakwa ba wama waba rakam gum afya wata kaza matazayam ayil ha'aim la maha la shalachamman ha'aratazakaya amawa kalnawa Matyam Vayasha Ha'aim Abba Batazakwa Taram Yechamataza Masha Artham Tazara Basha Maltham Ayil Shachaman Wa Banyam Yasha'ala Aishwa Kadaba Masha Vayasha Alwa Ma Matazayam Kalya Kasab Wakalya Zahab Washamala.
All right, in the English. Exodus, the 12th chapter, and the 29th verse. And it came to pass that at midnight the Most High smote all the firstborn of the land of Egypt. So when it says smote, the Most High killed all the firstborn of Egypt. All right? This is the Most High. The Most High brought his judgment in Egypt. He killed all the firstborn of Egypt. So if Pharaoh had a firstborn son, he was killed. All right? If any of the Egyptians had a firstborn son, the Most High killed it. If they had sheep, goats, cattle, the Most High killed it. All right? That's the dreadfulness of the Most High when he raised to bring forth his judgment. You understand? And the Most High is merciful. And he's also terrible when it comes to his judgment. But the Most High is righteous in anything that he does. If the Most High slay me tonight or anybody, the Most High is righteous. A lot of people like to say, well, why would God kill people? Because people are wicked and evil. It's plain and simple. People are wicked and evil. You understand? That's what it comes down to. The Most High gives people a chance to repent and turn from their wicked and their evilness. But when they refuse to do it, the Most High have to drop the hammer. In this society, when you break society's law, when the cop pulls you over, and pulls you over, and he gives you a ticket, does he cancel that ticket? No. Once you start writing that ticket, he can't cancel it. Here's your ticket. That ticket has to go forth. Then you have to either pay the ticket or see the judge. When you go before the judge, is the judge going to destroy your ticket? No. He's going to say, well, listen, according to the Penal Code law, such and such law, section 6521-1 of the state of New York, you broke this law, the penalty is $80. You say, well, I don't want to pay for it. Well, sir, in my court, either you pay for it or you spend some time in jail. That's the law, right? That's the same with the Most High. When you break his law and you become wicked and corrupt, the Most High destroys you. You understand? The Most High controls all life, death. The Most High controls that. And he's going to show the world what he's about. Because you're going to laugh, you're saying, I don't believe there's a God. There's a God. Why did my child die? That's a good question. But the scripture said, nobody dies. It said not even a bird falls from the sky unless it's sanctioned by the Most High. Nobody dies unless the Most High sanctions death. Right? Let's finish reading on. All right? So I'm reading again. And it came to pass that at midnight the Most High smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. So even the slaves of Egypt, the Most High killed their firstborn. All right? The Most High showing his power. All right? The next verse, the 30th verse. And Pharaoh rose up in the night. All right? It says, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians. And there was a great cry in Egypt, for there were not a house where there was not one dead. They were all dead in Egypt. And that's the Most High showing his power, because the Egyptians thought they were gods. The Egyptians thought they were the gods. What was the famous Egyptian gods that they worshiped? Ra. Amen-Ra. They thought they were gods of the universe. So the Most High had to show them, you're not the gods. I made you. And I gave you the power to rule over Egypt. So the Most High had to show his power to show man. Because man can be very powerful and become arrogant. Well, our technology, we're the greatest country on the earth. But the Most High could disappoint your technology. He could disappoint all your devices that you have and show you that you're nothing. And that's what he did to Egypt. He rose Egypt up, one of the greatest empire that ever ruled this earth. I should say dynasty. And the Most High brought Egypt down. Check that out. Now today, bring up to today's standard now, America, the good old USA, is supposed to be the greatest country on the face of the earth today, right? The greatest power, military power, the greatest economics, the greatest technology. But the Most High is going to bring them down. Believe it. Know that. The Most High is going to bring them down. All empires that rose, the Most High rose them up and he brought them down because of their wickedness and their evil. Once you start to reject the Most High and say there is no God, that's it. You understand? And that's what we have to be mindful of. We have to return back to the Most High and acknowledge the Most High for what he is. The 31st verse. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people. So he's making a separation. He said, rise up and get you forth from among my people. All right? So he's showing you that they weren't the same people. There were two different nations. But we were a nation of people in bondage in the land of Egypt, in North Africa. All right? Let me read that verse again. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Most High, as you have said. And take your flocks and your herds, as you have said, and be gone, and bless me also. Now he wanted a blessing after he saw the terror of the Most High. All right? The 34th verse. 33rd verse. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneaded troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. So we took the bread before it had a chance to rise. All right? We took the bread. We didn't have a chance to put agent to make the bread rise. So when the bread was in this stage, we took it with us and we left. So that's why we ate unleavened bread. Because the Most High said, you're going to leave Egypt in haste. Remember this here. The Most High deals with punctuality. The Most High is on point when he brings his judgment. One thing the Most High hates is a sluggard, a sluggish person, a lazy person. The Most High hates that. The Most High deals with punctuality. And the Most High is not slack concerning his promise. Remember that. Always instill in your child to be punctual, not to be lazy. A lazy person gets nowhere. When you slothful and you lazy, the Most High hates that. That's why Solomon said, go to the ant, thou sluggard. You ever see how an ant operates? Ants, in the summertime, constantly working and moving, constantly working together as a team. And in the wintertime, where's the ants? Relax. In their hole with their food stored up, because in the summertime, they're constantly moving and working. Observe animals. All right? And that's what Solomon said. So the Most High, that's what the Most High is about. The Most High is about action, moving. Because the Spirit of the Most High is quick. It's constantly moving. All right? The Most High said his word is quick and it's powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. You see this here? This is sharp. But the Most High word is sharper than this here. All right? The Most High word is quick and it's powerful. It pierces right through your soul, your bones, your marrows, your joints. The words of the Most High. And we have to love the Most High word. All right? Let me finish reading the last verse. Exodus 12 and 35. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. So we spoiled the Egyptians. We took their goods. We didn't borrow. We took their goods. All right? That's why the Most High said in the last days, when we leave out of this modern day Egypt, we're going to leave with great substance. All right? And that great substance is we're going to know the Most High, we're going to know why we're into captivity, and we're going to know that we're the children of Israel that was punished by the Most High in the land of our captivity for breaking the Most High laws. I say shalom.
We're in verse 36 to 42 in the Hebrew. Yahweh Nathan af kan ha'aim ba'ayan yam atazayim Yasha'al wam Natazal wa'af matazayim Yasaiwa banyam sha'ala marai masas sakha kashashama awaf alab wakalya hadu bayam balab matap Wakam I rab Ayla atham Wataza'an wavakwa Makwa nakabad ma'at Waya akwa'a Habatazakashwa Hawatazaya'awa Mamatazayam Aika matazawakayala'a Hamatazakaya Garashwa Mamatazayam Wala'a Yakalwa Lahata mama welcome to Zadala'a Aishwalaham Wama wa Shabanya Misha'ala Shira Yashabwa Bamatazayam Shalashyam Shana Wa Araba'aima Awa Shana ويهيا ما واتزا شلاشيم شنا وربعي ما وافشنا ويهيا بايتزم يومزا يتزاوى كل تزباوات يهوى ما واتزم تزايم لا يلشمايم وعاد لا يهوى لا واتزا بما تزايم بما واتزا ما تزايم هوا لا يلا هزا لا يهوى شمايم لكل بنيم يشاء لا درحمة.
Okay. All right. Exodus 12, and we're starting from the 36th verse. It says, "And the Most High gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians." So here the Most High is showing us that he favors one nation over another. See? So this is going against what they teach out in the world, right? The Most High love everybody. That he loves all nations. Well, as you can see, that's a lot. Most High said, I gave the nation of Israel favor over the Egyptians. Understand? So that means what? The Most High does what? He has preference of who he loves and who he hates. Understand? The churches don't teach that. The church teaches the Most High love everybody. Okay? You don't even love everybody. Nobody loves everybody. It's impossible. Okay? So the Most High, if he made you, and he gave you those type of emotions and things that you favor and like over one thing over another, well, what do you think about the Most High? The same exact thing, brother. The Most High loves who he wants to love and hate who he wants to hate. And Most High said, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Who is man to tell the Most High who to love and who to hate? See, that's what these pork chop eating preachers don't teach. Understand? They read it, but they don't teach it to the people. Because then they know the people start asking questions. What do you mean the Most High loved this nation over this nation? Wait a minute now. The Most High hated Esau? Yes. He loved Jacob? Yes. See? So our people got to start teaching the truth as it is presented to us in the scriptures. So he favored Israel over the Egyptians. He favored Israel, a dark nation, over the Egyptians, another dark nation. See, all dark nations aren't the same. Exodus 11:7 tells you what? Most High shall put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. He showed the difference. Read Exodus 11:7 to tell you. So the Most High preferred one nation over another nation. This is what we got to understand. And he said we spoiled the Egyptians. So in other words, we left Egypt with things that we needed from the Egyptians to go on out into the wilderness. Whatever it was. Jewelry, cattle, gold, silver, whatever it was. Most High said, give it to them. In other words, Most High put it in their spirit to give to Israel. And not only that, how did the Most High put it in their spirit? There were 10 plagues brought down on Egypt. They were happy to see us go. Get this out of here. Yeah, what do you want? What else you want? You want my house? Take it. Get out of here. All these 10 plagues, I drunk water with blood in it. I had frogs, I had lice, I had flies, I had boils, darkness. And that darkness wasn't the darkness you see out here now. That was thick darkness. You can feel it. Spirits were in that darkness, brother. Angels were in it. You can't see nothing. All of a sudden you feel something, on your shoulder. And people had heart attacks and everything. The Wisdom of Solomon tell you that. Yeah. Lions wrong, couldn't see nothing. People were dying from the fear. Apparitions, right. Great apparitions that they were seeing in that dark. It was thick. You could feel the darkness. See, it ain't the normal darkness out here that you see. Understand? So they were ready to give our people anything that we desired. That's what it means they spoiled. Because why? They were so fearful. They said, we had enough of these Israelites. Let them go, Pharaoh. Pharaoh, get them out of here. See? And Pharaoh's administrators were like, So like, look, man, you got to let these people go. They're killing us. And they knew that was the Most High doing it. We weren't doing it, right? So they knew it was what? The great power of the Israelites, great spiritual power of the Israelites, which is the Most High, Yahushua, that was doing it. So they said, get him out of here. Pharaoh said, okay. You know, especially when his firstborn, his son, got killed. Pharaoh said, that was it. Get him out of here. But the Most High had one more. He had one more thing to do, right? Pharaoh got what? Tempted. He said, let me get these Israelites out in the wilderness. Let me go get them. See? So the Most High had it where we spoiled the Egyptians, right? And then it says, and the children of Israel journeyed from Ramsey to Succoth. Okay? About 600,000 on foot that were men beside children. See how many people? We grew into a nation. All right? We grew into a nation in Egypt. All right? From Jacob, the 70 souls came in Egypt, 70 souls. From that, we grew into a nation. So now the Most High is ready to deal with us, not as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob anymore, but as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Jacob's name was turned to Israel, the Israelites as a nation now, see? Out of Egypt. We grew into a nation. See, that's why people think that we're Egyptians. We're not Egyptians. We grew as a nation in Egypt, but we're not Egyptians. You know, people get stupid. These Egyptologists are stupid as hell. They're stupid. When you read the scripture, they tell you, we grew as a nation. The nation of Israel grew in Egypt. But we were the nation of Israel in captivity, in bondage in Egypt. And then the Most High said, okay, that's enough. Pharaoh, let my people go. I gotta go train my people. I gotta teach my people who I am. And he told Moses, tell the people, I am that I am. See? I'm Yahweh. I am that I am. Tell the people that. And then teach them these laws. So we're in the wilderness for 40 years learning the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. And he said, Israel, I made you my people by blood sacrifice. Moses sprinkled blood on everybody. Yeah, you go up there and sprinkle blood on them. See, we done it with olive oil now, but it was blood back then, brother. See? So now Yahushua was the ultimate sacrifice. He's the lamb. He's the Passover. Now he spilled his blood for you. Now you sin, like the brother was saying, now, see, now you in trouble. Yahushua ain't dying for you anymore. I said, that's enough. I ain't dying for you no more. Now you're going to have to pay for your own sins. That's why you got to start keeping the commandments. It's real. It's real, brother. Yahushua ain't coming. He ain't coming to die for you anymore. You got away with that one. Not this time. It's over now. See? Mercy time is soon depart. And it will start with the house of Israel, Most High said. The time of the Most High judgment. Judgment shall start with the house of Israel. See? You're in mercy time, but after a while it's going to begin to, slack off some, and the Most High going to bring judgment, as you can see. See? All right, and it says, and a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, and very much cattle. See? So all the cattle, flocks, but who was this mixed multitude? Who are these other people that came with Israel? The Egypt? Yeah, more like the Egyptians. But why did these certain Egyptians want to come with Israel? Because they seen the power of the Most High. Understand? They see the power of the Most High, so they want to be in favor with Israel because of the power of the Most High. And you have nations like that, people of the nations like that now. They want to be with Israel. They see the Spirit with you. They see how the divine Spirit of the Most High is with you. Nations want to be like you, right? They want to dance like you. They want to act like you. They want to sing like you. They want to talk like you. See? Because the Spirit of the Most High is with Israel. So you had a mixed multitude that went. But remember, in Numbers they tell you, this mixed multitude, what they do? They went lusting. The Most High said they went lusting because why? They're not Israel. This mixed multitude, they still what? Of the other nations. They still have that Gentile spirit. And when it came time to keep the laws, these Egyptians couldn't do it. Even in the wilderness, they couldn't do it, so they went lusting. And they said, we don't want to eat manna, we want meat. This is the Egyptians that went with the mixed multitude. We don't want to keep no law in Egypt. And then as far as the captivity was concerned, the bondage was only about 80 years or so. All right? From the time of Moses up to the Exodus, that was the bondage. It wasn't a total 215 years of bondage. Remember, during Joseph's time, there was no bondage. The pharaohs of Egypt liked Israel at that time. Remember? So it was only from Moses' time, and Moses lived to be up to 80 years old from the time he was born to the Exodus, right? And so that was the whole bondage part right there. We served only about 80 years of bondage. The other years, which completed the 215, was when the pharaohs of Egypt liked Israel.
Because Joseph
Understand?
Joseph ruled for exactly about 80 years.
Right.
Because Joseph died at 110 years. And Joseph began to rule at the age of 30. At 30 years, he became ruler of Egypt. And he died at 110 years old. So how many years did he rule? If he started ruling from 30 years and he died at 110, how many years did he rule? 80 years.
80 years.
And remember, he was in Egypt from a young age, from the age of 17.
17, teenager.
So he grew up his whole entire life in Egypt. He was sold into Egypt at the age of 17. And he did some time in prison because the pharaohs imprisoned him. Then when he became of the age of 30, when the Spirit of the Most High came upon him and was able to interpret the dreams of Pharaoh and show the Pharaoh what was going to happen, the Pharaoh said, wow, the Spirit of the gods is upon you. And they made him next in command over Egypt. You understand? And when he became in command, he ruled for 80 years. And he preserved us for those 80 years. Then after he died, it said a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph, started to oppress us. So after he died, a new Pharaoh came into rulership. It's like you have a new president coming to term like every 4 years. But with a Pharaoh, it might be a lifetime, maybe 20 years, a lifetime. Depends on how long that Pharaoh rules. All right? So when that Pharaoh died, the next Pharaoh came into power. And they said, listen, what the hell is these Hebrews ruling in Egypt?
Right.
So he said, nah, we can't have this. That's when they started to oppress us and enslave us.
Right.
But like Barack was saying, it wasn't 430 years, complete captivity.
Right. The scripture may read like that, but it wasn't. So you can understand. You got to read the Septuagint, the Samaritan text, and the Hebrew.
And the Josephus.
And the Josephus will tell you also that it was only 215 years and then 215 years in the land of Canaan. All right? And then in the scriptures, both those years were added up to 430 years. Okay?
When you go to Galatians, it proves that. In Galatians, from the time the Most High made the promise with Abraham, all right, was a total from the time of Abraham to the time he came out of Egypt, is a total of 430 years all together, put together. That's what it means. Yeah.
Scripture says sojourner, it doesn't say slavery.
Right.
It's sojourner be the traveler.
Okay. 41st verse. And it says, and it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day it came to pass, that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. See? So the selfsame day, right? Even the selfsame day came to pass. So the selfsame day. All right? So we're dealing with the Passover now, the selfsame day. So at the end of the 430 years, on that selfsame day, that's when we entered out of Egypt. Understand? And the Most High, precise, brother. He's precise. And then the prophecy states, right? The Most High told Abraham, your people are going to be enslaved in captivity for 400 years. Under a nation whom after the 400 years I shall judge that nation. Now he told Abraham 400 years, here's his 430, so no, that's not the same prophecy. Understand? It's not the same prophecy. So that 400 years got to mean something else. We never went back into Egypt. See? Not that Egypt, but we came back into what Egypt? Huh? We came back into America, modern day Egypt. See? So the prophecy of Abraham, when the Most High said 400 years, is talking about in America. Modern day Egypt. And then that nation whom we were under in America, he said, that nation he shall judge. Understand?
And we shall come up with great substance. The great substance that we're going to come up with, we're going to know the Most High. And we're going to see the Most High judgment. And we're going to know who we are and why we went into captivity. That's the great substance. And the whole world's going to know who we are.
And that's soon, brother. That's around the corner, brother. Okay? Barack Obama going to Israel wasn't just for nothing. Trying to do a peace accord or whatever they're trying to do. No, that was significant. Because they know the time is now. All right? Eventually, you're going to be entering into the tribulation period. Everybody going to know the Israelites or the so-called Negroes, West Indian, Haitian, Puerto Rican, our people scattered throughout North, South, Central America, and ultimately throughout the whole earth. Everybody going to know it. Okay? The greatest kept secret of all time in the history of man. Understand? That the blacks in America are the real Jews. That's going to come out. It's going to shock the whole world. Okay? So we're in those times now. All right? Remember, the Most High's year begins now. See? Most High going to bring out something soon. Most High's year begins. This is a Passover. This is the new year, brother. All right? It's not January 1st. It's a new year here with the Most High. See? The Most High don't go by Esau's time. He goes by his time that he created. Understand? So the 42nd verse says, it is a night to be much observed unto the Most High for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Most High to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generation. So it's generational. Serving the ceremonial laws are generational. They're forever, generational. That's why you teach your children and your children's children, your children's children, forever. See? And so here we are from the time of Egypt up until now. How many years is that? That's about what? 4,000 years. Yeah, that's a long time, isn't it? And we still supposed to be teaching our children. See? So the Most High, we just forgot. When we came to slavery in America, they whipped it out of us, our nationality, and took it from us and made us forget. See? But now it's time the Most High, he started bringing it back to us. He started waking men up, waking brothers up to who they are. And then we're supposed to do what? Go back to who we are. Start keeping it. Start remembering it at least. And this is what we're doing. Okay? Cut? Okay.
Verse 43 to 51, the end. In the Hebrew. Wa'yamar Yahweh al-Masha wa'aharan za'af kahwat ha-pasak kaban nakala'a ya'akal bawa wa'kal aibada yash ma'panav kasab wa'malatha afwa az ya'akal bawa Tawa shab washa khayala ya kalbawa baba ya fakad ya kala tawa tazaya man habasha khawataza wa aitazamla ta tasha bawa kalayab yashala ya aishwa akwa wakaya ya gawa akka God wa Aisha Pasak la Yahweh Hama wala wa kal zakal wa az Yahwarab la Aisha wa Hayat ha azara ha'arataza wa kal ayrala Yahkal bawa tawara achat Yahayala azara wala gar hagar bata wakam Waya Aishwa Kol Banyam Yasha'ala Ka'ashirat Zawa Yahawa Ab Mashawa Ab Ahawan Kan Aishwa Waya Hayabay Tazam Hayawam Mazar Hawatazaya Yahawa Ab Banyam Yasha'ala Ba'arataza Matazaya Mail Tazabatam. Okay, we're in chapter 12 and verse 43. We're finally finishing up now. So it says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. there shall no stranger eat thereof. So when the Most High said that this is an ordinance, the key word in there in the word ordinance is order. You see, there's a certain tradition to the Passover. I know some brothers, some schools, they have other meats and other things that they put with the Passover. But the Most High said this is an ordinance, an order, an order. You know, when you look at the menu here, there's an order, you know. You're going to first blow the horn, say the prayers. The Most High has order to everything. So this Passover is an order, a sequence as how you keep it for generation unto generation. So he said, there shall no stranger eat thereof. So when he said there shall no stranger eat thereof, he's talking about strangers that's not following the ordinances of the Most High, that's not keeping the laws of the Most High, that's strangers that have not sojourned with us, that's strangers that have been outside. He said they can't keep the Passover with us, because as you're going to read down, you're going to see that the strangers that came with us from Egypt, they was able to keep the Passover with us. Verse 44. He said, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. So, see, the Most High is putting a difference right now. He said, if you got a servant or a stranger and you bought him with money, when you buy that person with money, what is that person now? Your possession, your property. When he's your property, you don't have to pay him a salary. We're going to read that as we go on. When you buy that person for money, that is your servant, your slave. You can do with them whatever they want. But the Most High said, when you circumcise them, then they can come and keep the Passover. Because what was the circumcision? The circumcision was like the sealing of the contract. When the Most High gave that covenant of circumcision to Abraham, it was a written contract. Well, it wasn't written back then, but it was more like a verbal contract. And he told Abraham, listen, I got a contract between you and me. A covenant. That agreement. And how do you seal an agreement today? With your signature. Back then, the Most High didn't want no signature. Most High wanted your blood. Most High said, there's nothing going on unless he see bloodshed. So that circumcision, when the males cut the foreskin of their penis off, that was the covenant. Boom, right there. That was their signature, saying that the Most High is now sealed. You're both sealed together. You're in agreement. So when the strangers came with us, they said, okay, you're gonna keep the laws with us. You're not gonna sign any documents or any papers, any contracts. You're gonna have the same contract that we had, circumcision, which is part of the law also. So when the strangers came with us, just like they're gonna come with us in the future, they're gonna have to be circumcised. They're gonna have to keep the law the same way we kept the law. And in the future, if they don't keep the law, what the Most High said he was going to do, he said no rain is going to come on their land. So everything is done according to order. And everything, as in this world, everything has a written contract. With the Most High, everything has a contract and is sealed. And that seal is circumcision. Verse 45. He said, a foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. So now he's going into the different types of servants that can eat. The different kind of strangers and foreigners. Now a foreigner, like I said earlier, a foreigner is not someone that sojourned in the land with them. A foreigner is not someone that is keeping the laws with them or have any covenant with them. A foreigner is actually another nation that has no dealings with Israel. He said another nation can't just come and keep the Passover with us unless they follow the guidelines and the ordinances that the Most High set up. He said, and also a hired servant. Now, as we read above, he said, when you buy a servant for money, he can come and keep. Why? Because he belongs to you. He's got to follow what you follow. But a hired servant don't have to follow your rules. Because you got to pay him. He don't belong to you. He's just there temporarily. Whenever he want to leave, he can just pack his bag and leave. But a servant that you buy with money, he's there forever. Some servants, when they serve us, they were so happy to serve us. You know, when we was in captivity under the nations, they treated us bad. But when we had servants, our servants loved us. Under Solomon, under David, under all the nations that we had captives, they loved to serve under Israel because we had laws we had to follow pertaining to them. So when a servant would want to continue, because each sojourning, or how can I put it? Say you would buy a servant, they would stay with you for like 7 years. And if they wanted to stay longer, they would take an awl and they would make a hole in their ear. And they would say, well, you know what? I want to stay your servant forever. And that was like a second covenant. That me as a servant, I'm going to continue to stay with you because the way you treat me with righteousness, because we dealt with the nations under righteousness. The Most High don't deal with wickedness. Not like the way they deal with us. We're not going to deal with them the same way. We're going to deal with them according to righteousness and according to the law. Verse 46. He says, in one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house. So that's talking about tonight. When we eat this lamb tonight, you're not getting a doggy bag to take home. Whatever lamb is left here is all going to be eaten. Whatever is not eaten, in the morning, it has to be burnt with fire. That's according to the law. It says also, neither shall he break a bone thereof. We're not supposed to break the bones of the lamb, because who is the ultimate lamb? Yahweh. He had to fulfill that prophecy of not a bone being broken. So when he was laying there on the cross, and they put the nails into his hands, they didn't break any bones inside his hands or in his feet. Even when they stuck the spear in his side, they didn't crack any ribs, because he had to fulfill this prophecy of being that sacrificial lamb. And that lamb had to be perfect, without blemish, without any bones broken. Because, like I said earlier, everything has an order. This Passover, which represents Yahweh, is an ordinance. There's an order to it. Verse 47. He said, all the congregation of Israel shall keep it. That means all of Israel, men, women, and children. All of us supposed to be here. In one house. You're not supposed to be eating the Passover and you're at home, and this next person in their home. Most I said, it's a holy convocation, a holy gathering. When you read in Leviticus, we're all supposed to come together and gather in one place, on the one house where the Most High shall put his name. And this is the place for tonight. The Most High wanted us to come and gather together tonight in this one place. Verse 48. He said, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised. Like I was saying earlier, whenever a stranger or a person of another nation is going to sojourn with us, they want to follow us, because they will be followed. Just like we did in the past, Most High said there ain't nothing new under the sun. It's going to be the same thing today. When the Most High begin to bring death and destruction on the earth, and they begin to see that the Most High is blessing this people, they're gonna flee away from their churches, from their beliefs. And they're going to take hold of the skirt of him that is called a Jew, an Israelite. And they're going to say, we want to follow you. Because we see that the Most High and the power is with you. So they're going to come and they're going to want to learn this. We're going to have to teach them. We're supposed to be a light to the nations. Just like this menorah is up here as a light, we're supposed to be that light to spread this word around the world to all the nations. Once I said, he's not going to return until every nation on this earth knows this truth. And he's not talking about what they're teaching today. He's talking about this truth according to the gospel. Let me continue. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. So in other words, when they get circumcised, they're going to be treated as though they was born in the land. He said there's going to be one law. There's not going to be two different laws. There's one law. All 613 laws for Israel and for the nations. When we get into the kingdom, they're not going to keep a different law. The Most High is bringing the other nations that don't want to keep the law. The ones that come with us, they're going to be keeping the laws of the Most High. He said, one law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. One law. There's no two laws, but one law. He said, thus did all the children of Israel, as Yahweh commanded, Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass, the selfsame day, that Yahweh did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies. So like the brother was saying, the selfsame day, the Most High deals with accuracy. When he said the selfsame day, what day did we come out of Egypt? We came out on the Passover, on the 14th day at sundown. So if we were supposed to be here in ancient Egypt 430 years, what day did Abraham enter in? It would have to be the self-same day. Because the Most High is not going to be, he's not like us. You know, we said we're going to start at 7:30. Here it is 9 o'clock, we're starting. You know? The Most High said the self-same day. That means when we left Egypt on the 14th day at sundown, 430 years ago on that very same day, Abraham walked in. That's what that meant. And that's why we're here today. Most High said 400 years we're going to serve here in this captivity. But he put a catch to it. He didn't say the self-same day we're going to get out. He said he's going to have to cut these days short. Because if he don't cut the days short, ain't nobody going to be left here to be saved. No flesh will be left because of the destruction and death that the Most High is going to bring on this earth. So we can't sit here. See, back then, we could have calculated, yeah, this time we're going to be out of here. But now, we're not sure. 400 years might be up 20 years from now, but we don't know that in the 400th year, it could be the 399th, 398th. We don't know which year, or which month, or which season. That's why the Most High put that in there. He said, I'm going to cut these days short. Because no man on this earth know the time or the season that Yahushua is going to return. Not even Yahushua knows. But the Most High only. With that, I say shalom.
Shalom.
Right, okay. And before we eat the meal here, right, I just want to go to 1 Corinthians 11. First Corinthians 11:23. Right, so what we're going to do is go over really how you're supposed to conduct yourself when you're at this particular ceremonial, Lord, the Passover. There's a special way you're supposed to conduct yourself. And not only this Passover, but all the high holy days, and as an Israelite, how you're supposed to conduct yourself. All right? So this is 1 Corinthians 11 and 23. Ben, can you read that? Or?
1 Corinthians 11, 23.
All right.
For I have received of Hamashiach Yahushai that which also I delivered unto you, that Yahushai Hamashiach, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread.
Right. So Paul is saying this, right? Paul said, I have received, right, of the Mashiach Yahushai, that which also I delivered unto you. So what he got from Yahushai, he's going to bring down to the people, our people, right? So this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be teaching the word of the Mashiach Yahushai. That's Yahushai, who the world ignorantly call Christ. We're supposed to be teaching the word. How Yahushai delivered it to us, that's how we're supposed to present it. This is what Paul is saying. But that same night, it says, right, in which he was betrayed, he took bread. So you can understand, that same night, that was the Passover. You understand? Yahushai was born on the Passover and was put on the cross on the Passover. Understand? So that same night, he was betrayed. Understand? Go ahead, up.
And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which was broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me.
Right, say so. And that same night with the disciples, remember the so-called Last Supper, right? He's telling the disciples, Take, this is my body. Understand? Do this in remembrance of Yahushua. So the Passover is really also remembrance of Yahushua. It is his birthday, okay? If you want to know when Yahushua was born, he was born on the Passover. Come? We know that he was born on the Passover, not December the 25th. All right? And he said, do it. This is my body. Do it in remembrance. That's why we're doing this. We're doing it in remembrance of Yahushua. Not only that, when we came out of Egypt, right? And the Most High passed over, the death angel, but also in remembrance of Yahushua. So really, we're remembering when we came out of Egypt, and also we're remembering Yahushua. Because what did the Most High say? What did Yahushua say? Without me, you can do nothing. You can't get to the Most High without Yahushua. You cannot get to him. All right? The Most High won't even consider you if you don't go through Yahushua. So all these other Israelite camps who were talking about, you know, they don't know this guy, Yahushua, they don't know who he is, this Jay-Z cat and all that stuff. So that's madness. You gotta, that's why in your prayers, you gotta say the Most High in Yahushua. Because the Most High left Yahushua in charge. Yahushua is in charge, bro. He's running this deal. He's the guy. He's the director. He's the captain of the host. Understand? He's the mediator. Understand? So he's the one that you have to go to. Then Yahushua says to the Most High, forgive this brother. Then the Most High, okay, Yahushua, forgive him. Because why? Yahushua said, Lord, can you forgive that brother? See? Other than that, the Most High ain't hearing nothing else if it don't come through Yahushua to have grace on you and have mercy on you. It has to come through Yahushua. That's why the angels up with Yahushua up there bidding for you. It has to go through the mediator first. You need Yahushua, brother. Okay? So now, Ben, 25th verse.
After the same manner, also, he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me.
Right. So now he took the cup, right? Right. So we take a little wine and understand the children get grape juice. Right? Don't get the children wine. Okay? We don't want the children out here drunk enough. So he said, do this in remembrance of him. That's the cup. The cup of what? The New Testament of his blood. Because why? When he went on the cross, his blood, right? His blood was what? Gave us what? Forgiveness of sins. That's why we do it in remembrance of him. Understand? So that brought the New Testament. Remember, what does the scripture say? There's no redemption without bloodshed. All right? And a testament is of not of full strength unless the testator dies. Remember? It says that. So the New Testament was brought because Yahushua shedded his blood for the nation of Israel. This is why we have it today. Otherwise, it wouldn't be brought. Understand? So like the brothers are saying, about the contract with the circumcision, with everything the Most High do with blood. Everything is with blood. How are you going to be delivered out of here? By bloodshed. That's how you're going to be delivered out of here. See? Somebody got to die for you to be saved and delivered out of here. Somebody got to pay the price. And he said, I will ransom these nations. I will hold these nations accountable. Just so you can be delivered. A lot of people going to die. How many? About a billion people? Huh? About 4 billion people are going to be put to death in this earth. Just so you can be saved and delivered. Both sides said. Yeah, both sides real, ain't it? See? Oh, there's a whole lot of people being put to death every day. You just don't hear the numbers. He's not going to put it in the papers and the news. See? But these people are being put to death. And it's through different ways. Famine. You know what I'm saying? Earthquakes, pestilences, diseases, through different ways. But billions of people are being put to death so that Israel can be delivered and brought into the kingdom of heaven. Sacrifice. Somebody has to pay. And how many of Israel? The Bible says about 2/3 of Israel got to pay. So even of the elect, somebody got to pay of the elect so the elect of the elect can be delivered. Okay? So the Most High is real, brother. And like the brother said, nobody falls to the ground unless the Most High is sanctioned. So who's sanctioning all this death and bloodshed and stuff? Most High and Yahushua. See? So people in the earth got the Most High. They got a different perception of the Most High. They think he's a white boy with blonde hair and blue eyes. See? They think the devil is bringing all this. No, the Most High is bringing it. Yeah, he can tell Satan go kill a few 100,000 people, whatever, but still, it's through the Most High and Yahushua. Satan has no control over life and death. Only the Most High. Understand? So you got to understand that. Satan can, tempt you. He can tempt you, that's about it, but he has no control over life and death. He can afflict you, see? But he can't kill you unless the Most High says Satan go kill. That's it. See? How many of you know, really, if Satan could kill you, he would. The only reason why you're alive because the Most High says, Satan, leave him alone. Don't touch him. See? So you're alive. Understand? So by the mercy of the Most High and Yahushua. Go ahead, Ben.
26th verse. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show Hamashiach Yahushua's death till he comes.
See? So as much as we do this, who said don't keep the Passover? Who said don't do this in remembrance? What are these brothers talking about? Yeah, we're going to do it, right, to show Yahushua's death until he comes. That's what it said. Didn't it say that? Until he comes. So who's saying don't do that? See? Don't listen to them type of brothers. Okay? Let them brothers, don't listen to them type of brothers. See, that's why the Most High said last days is going to be brothers who are going to cause division. He said mark them type of brothers. See? Understand? He said do this until he comes. This is what we're trying to do here. See? And all the high holy days of the Most High, Yahushua, that he gave us. Understand? Go ahead, Ben.
27th verse. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of Yahushua HaMashiach unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of Yahushua.
Yeah, so how do you drink this cup and this bread and the blood of Yahushua unworthily? How do you do that? See? Acting unruly. Showing envy and jealousy and hatred and malice towards one another. Understand? That's how you do it unworthily. See? Actually, what you're supposed to be doing if you have something against a brother is go to the brother. You should have went to the brother before the Passover started. And then seek to resolve the situation before you come to the Passover. That's how it's supposed to be done. Okay, yeah. So that's how it's supposed to be done. Understand? So there are brothers that can do this unworthily. See? Yet you have to Passover. But you're really unworthy to be here. Understand? When you have that type of attitude, that type of spirit. Okay? So that's how you can do it unworthily. Go ahead, Doc.
28th verse. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup.
So examine yourself, brothers. So you eat that bread and drink of that cup. Examine yourself. The scripture says whether you be in or not in. Whether you're doing the right thing in the spirit of righteousness or not. See, examine yourself. You should always examine yourself before you do anything, especially against another brother. Understand? And make sure you're doing it in the spirit of the way Yahushua said do it. Understand? Always examine yourself. Go ahead, up.
For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning Yahushua's body.
Right, see? So if you do it unworthily, you're eating damnation to yourself and drinking damnation to yourself. Understand? So that can happen. So just because you're here at the Passover, if you're here unworthily, then it's really you're bringing damnation to yourself. You can go out there and something can happen. It's happened. It's happened many times, brother. These brothers up here have been in many Passovers. We've seen brothers go out here, get drunk in here, and then go out there and get hit by a car. Or crash or whatever. Many times. We've seen it happen. We've heard it happen. So it can happen. So you want to do the right thing. All right? And get yourself prepared. Understand? Get yourself prepared. Like you see, holiness unto the Most High. Be holy unto the Most High and Yahushua. See? To the best of your ability. Okay, Ben. 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. And then Matthew 26:13 about the woman that we're supposed to remember. So read 1 Corinthians 5 and 7, Ben, very quick.
1 Corinthians 5 and 7. It says, Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Hamashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
Right. So here we are, brothers. Most High said, purge out the old leaven. What is the old leaven? Like the brother was trying to explain to you about leavening and yeast and all that garbage that's in the food and in bread and all that stuff. So what would be old leaven in you? Huh? Sin. Yeah, sin, basically. You give it one word, sin. See? Purge out the old leaven and then everything else that comes after that. You know what I'm saying? Purge out all that old stuff. See? The malice, the envy, the jealousy, all that stuff. See, we all have that stuff, but we're supposed to examine ourselves. So when Satan tries to tempt us with that stuff, wait a minute, let me examine myself first. See? And then with wisdom and discipline, you're able to what? Overcome that stuff. See, that's what it means, purge it out. You're able to overcome it. Use wisdom and knowledge to what? Control your spirit and control your emotions. Understand? Because Satan works through what? Your feelings and your emotions. That's how he works. That's how he gets you. I feel like this. I feel. Let me know what you feel. See? So, the spirit. You want the spirit should guide you and lead you into all righteousness. Yeah, you have feelings, but you're supposed to keep them in check. by your spirit, by the spirit of righteousness. See? So, heard out that old leaven, and then Matthew, that was it then, right? Was showing you that this one was showing you Christ is our Passover. So this is actually what? The birthday of what? Yahushua. He was born on the Passover. Understand? So you see, it's in the springtime, right? So where did Christmas come from? Where did December 25th come from? Devil, right? That's an old Babylonian tradition. Okay? December 25th is when Nimrod and his son Tammuz and them were born. Understand? That's the worship of Satan. That's satanic worship. Okay? And let's read that out.
Matthew 26:13.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead,
Matthew 26 and verse 6. Now when Yahushua was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman, having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head, as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw that they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much, and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she has wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always.
Right. So this woman, and so when you read the other parts of Scripture, it tells you Mary Magdalene, right? This woman took this oil, and actually what she was doing was something to benefit Yahushua for his burial. So she took the oil, poured it on him, and then rubbed it with her hair. All right? So one of the disciples didn't like that. It was really, when you read the other parts of Scripture, it tells you it's Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed Yahushua. Right? It was the one who betrayed. Right? He was worried about how much money the thing cost. So, of course, he betrayed Yahushua for 30 pieces of silver. Little or nothing, right? So, but he had to pay for that. That's why Yahushua said, I have 12 of you, one of you is the devil. One of you is going to betray me this night. Right? So it ended up being Judas Iscariot. This is the same one that was arguing, not arguing, but telling Yahushua, well, this could have been sold for some money. They're showing you where his mind was at. Go ahead, Al.
For in this she had poured the ointment on my body, she did it for my burial.
Right.
Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman has done, be told for a memorial of her.
Right. So that's why every Passover we bring this out. A memorial is what? Once again, remembrance of what she did for Yahushua. All right? Mary Magdalene, what she did for Yahushua, and pouring this oil on him and rubbing it on him for his burial. So the Lord said, do that in remembrance. So that's why we read that. Okay? Ben? You let it on that? Okay. Okay, so at this time, anything else, Ash? Okay, yeah, that's right. Go ahead. Right.
You're about 1 minute before everything get cold. Look, if everybody have the Passover sheet on your table, I'm gonna just take a minute, then we can break bread. Turn it over on the back and look at the in remembrance of. If y'all have that sheet. You know, brother told me that the back of this page is kind of getting a lot of names that's going on this page.
Right.
Do everybody understand me? Brother told me the other day, he said, hey, Arch, this page is getting filled up, man. Okay, so it's brother from Ambassadors of Christ, the last one, Alashaya. They just had his, they just sent him home Friday. The brother made 3 scores of 10. He was 72. That's he put work in the truth. That was good. But in the middle, you have a lot of young brothers, though. Now you got Masha and Yaiqua was elders. You know, they got a good run in this setup. The Most High, you know, blessed them through it. But in between are young brothers. So I'm gonna tell you, we have to be prepared, you know, for its burial, for its finance, you know, because it's gonna keep coming. And I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you that's the end of it.
Right.
You know, the sheep. Now next Passover is gonna have a few more names on it. Con? Okay, so we have to be prepared, you know, learn the burial, learn the funeral situation, the financial, so when our brothers and sisters, when something like this come up, you know, they make that phone call, and then we as a family, you know, we represent this and we do this for our people. Okay, we have to go on the outside and churches and stuff and let them do all the funeral arrangement when we supposed to, as priests, know how to do these things, Con? Okay, so I was just pointing this out. Okay, but like the brothers say, the back page of this is going to get filled up. It's going to be more names. Okay, that's part of the Most High sacrifice. You can't stop it, right? Okay, so we have to be wise and use the wisdom that the Most High has given us to be prepared financially, and then knowing how to deal with the bodies and so forth, and knowing how to deal with the burials. Okay? All right, so.
All right. So, what we're going to do, Imagine we're putting out for dumb. Stand up. I know. So let's see, let's see the lamb. Take a piece of lamb. Everybody take a little piece of lamb. I know it might be cold, but we got more back there, okay? We got more back there, so take a piece of lamb. And let's see the lamb, right? So the lamb, the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover that was made when the Lord killed the firstborn of the Egyptians. The body of the Lord being the sacrificial lamb, right, for the nation of Israel, all right? And remember, the blood of the lamb symbolized the cleansing of sins also. So Yahushua's blood represents forgiving you of your sin, cleansing you of your sin, understand? So that's what the blood also represents. So we take a piece, and we say, hold it up, and we say, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai. And everybody eat a piece. All right? That's the body of Yahweh Shai, right? And now, you're going to take a piece of unleavened bread. As everybody notice, this ain't no matzahs. This is real unleavened bread. All right, this ain't crackers from Pathmark. All right, this is unleavened bread. The brother makes it. All right. Mathathiwa makes it, and it's real unleavened bread, right? So, what we're going to say is, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai. And you eat a piece of unleavened bread. And of course, the unleavened represents a symbol like purity. All right? And now, you take a piece of the bitter herb. Yeah. Which one's here? Both of them. Yes. Well, you got two types of bitter herbs. Take both of them. Yeah. Take a piece of both of them. Right? And the bitter herbs represent the bitterness of bondage in Egypt. And we were Egypt back then, and we're in modern day Egypt now. It's bitter, isn't it? It was Bitter back then is bitter now. So we say Barakatha Yahweh, Why Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Why Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Why Yahweh Shai.
Right, ye.
Bitter herb.
Now be careful in chewing this little white one now.
No. It's supposed to be bitter, huh? It's supposed to be.
Get all that negative out of it.
Yeah, because the demons hate that bitterness.
You know, they're running out of it. Eat another one.
Be careful.
Okay, that's it. All right, so all the brothers and sisters, you can sit down and eat your lamb. All right. The wine, right? Oh, that's right, the wine. Hold on. The yayan, right? This is it, right? This is the yayan. You're right.
Small little cups, yes. The little cups.
All right, just pour some in the cup. Pour a little bit in the cup like this. Right, the yayan. Remember, representing the Yahweh Shai's blood. Barakatha Yahweh, Why Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Why Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Why Yahweh Shai, water, Amen.
Oh, there was some of that man Chevys, didn't
All right, so now you can have a seat, you shop you, and eat your lamb, unleavened bread, bitter herb.
We got small cups. She got to give us back some money. Okay.
Come on up, Rock. And Quash. Come on up, Quash. Come on up.
My name's Karash, and you know we all from UPK School, Universal Practical Knowledge, back with the brothers in the 7, and we see what the brothers was in name, but they were in the spirit and how they all of this come from that, and all the schools come from that school. So we got to respect our teachers and the teachers of the Yahweh Shem Yahshai that taught them. So all of you, just like the brother brought out with this Passover, we have to get rid of the old leaven and just start loving each other more, coming together more, just like this, no matter where we're at, and what you're doing, is coming together, because when Yahweh Shah comes up and the curtains are up, we got to do this for real. Ain't going to have no job to go to. Your job's going to be being in Israel. Right. Good. So I say shalom. That's how Yahweh Shah bless you.
And the reason, brothers and sisters, the reason, we always speak on brothers like Karash, but Quash, we all came out of the One West together. Before a lot of you even came through. So back from the 80s, we all came up together. That's why we all, Karash comes around, we always give it up to him. But there's other brothers and sisters out there that came from back in the past, like Ralab, Yawasop, you got your Shaw. I mean, if I could see anybody else visiting, I call the Quad. Folks been up. And the other brothers came out of one with basically like Quad and Karash that really came up with us from the late 80s. That's why when they always come through, we came up together, out in the streets, in the camp, before all those other camps got out there. We started out together. That's why we always give it up to them when they come visit. Right? You want to say something?
Brother McQuarrie.
You brothers keep up the good work and stay strong, man. It was a good Passover, and they had a lot of encouraging words. Stay strong, man. Don't give up, because a lot of brothers and sisters have given up. They went back out in the world, and they just faded away. I learned from these brothers, man. You're going to learn a lot from these brothers. Brothers raised me in the truth. Fulton McCoy, 42nd and 44th, downtown Brooklyn. That's a legend area right there, man. You brothers, you hang strong. You sisters too, man. You Israelites too. You hang strong, man. Don't let no one deter you away, like the brothers brought up in the Passover, from the truth. Don't let no one teach you the law is done away with. All the different doctrines that's being taught. Stay strong, and the key is love. Love and communication in the spirit of love. That's the key. That's one of the hardest things you're gonna face to learn is love. You can break down Daniel's 2, Daniel 7, Revelation 7, Revelations 14, but the hardest thing to focus on and to learn is the love in Galatians, the 5th chapter. That's going to be a main obstacle to battle and to learn. If you get that down packed, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you.
No, they don't need them. Yeah, they don't need them.
What? They don't want me.
Hey, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Huh?
I want you to talk to the people when you talk. See if Moses said I can't talk. Words of encouragement. Words of wisdom. Something.
Maya.
Can't hear you, Mike.
Reading the truth over a period of years and over the Passover, all I can say is just take this one day at a time. When we first started out, we used to do, with the video department, and that was a blessing. I mean, I wouldn't trade that in for the lotto that just came out. Because it's priceless. When we started out, we didn't know anything about cameras or anything, and it just built. The Spirit was working with us, and we just built it. And I'm just thankful for Most High for it. I still can't believe I'm in the truth, because I'm one of the most wickedest people. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Oh yeah, you don't know my track record. You got a whole pan. Nah, ain't enough of there. Ain't enough of there. I was wild. So I know there's a higher power, because I'm gonna tell you, doing that work, that was a blessing. It was a challenge, but it was a blessing. And like I said, I'm thankful most of it.
That's it.
All right, so
Pious. Pious, you back there.
Yeah, he's right there in the bed.
Come up for a minute, the Pious. Okay, brother, looking at me. That's my name? Yeah.
Got my man from One West. And we was in, you was in our Lux camp too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in there with me and Ben. Yeah, my man. He didn't have all that gray head.
Just a little surprise. I'm not used to speaking.
What's your name, brother?
A Pious. Come back from old One West.
One West, UPK, been in the knowledge over 25 years. I know a lot of the veterans up here. I've seen them out there on 44th Street, 34th Street, Queens, New Jersey. Been in the knowledge a long time. See a lot of new faces. A lot of the new faces come out of the old One West. A lot of new faces. I'm glad to be here tonight again, Lord's Passover. Glad to see a lot of you. Hope you come back again. Shalom.
I'd like to just say a personal thank you. Not because she's my wife, but to say a personal thank you for my wife. I went up the garments for the council. And, you know, through her spirit and her willing to do this for the council, on behalf of the council, we want to say thank you for designing the garments for us. All right?
Yeah. So, but like he's saying, but all the brothers of the house of David, we appreciate the name of the Most High and Yahushua, all right? And all the other brothers that are here, all right, from the different camps and so forth. This is the Most High's Passover. All the sisters that are here, we appreciate them too, all right? But without the sisters, it could be made possible too. So, but we want to be able to have this type of Passover each and every year. Look, we ain't got long in America, brother. And we should be rejoicing, even though we're going into like a tribulation period, like the scripture says, but we should be rejoicing because our kingdom is that much closer. Understand? We should be rejoicing about that. So we should be rejoicing at these high holy days and thanking the Most High and Yahushua, right? That the Most High and Yahushua is for us. He's for the nation of Israel. That's what we can be happy about and thankful about. Understand? A deliverance is coming to the nation of Israel. All right? And we should be thankful of that. See, so there shouldn't be a lot of sad faces, shouldn't be a lot of, you know, whining and complaining and, you know, jealousy and envy and all that stuff, and malice and stuff amongst each other. Understand? Because the Most High, Yahushua, He's bringing it. It's coming. Now, the scripture says the kingdom of heaven is without observation. See? It says it's within you. You got to exemplify it. You have to do it. Yahushua ain't done it for you. You have to do it. He already laid down the word. That's why Yahushua, He ain't coming to shake your hand. Nothing like that. He already laid down the word. Now you got to exemplify it. Yahushua ain't doing too much talking now. He already talked. Sit here. So you got to exemplify it. You got to take this word and apply it. That's our job. That's Israel's job. Take the word and apply it. The blueprint is already here. See? So if we don't do it, who's going to do it then? Then Yahushua will move you right on out the way. Next, that's why the brother had the young men up here. See? Remember, the whole generation that came out of Egypt, right? What happened? They were wiped out. Whole generation. The only one that went in was Caleb and Joshua. Everybody else was, you know, the children of the one that came out of Egypt. But the whole generation got wasted. They were wasted. He might have to do that again. See? We had to do that again. Because Israel, I don't know, Israel just don't get it right. See? So, we want to get it right, brother. See, if not for us and yourself, but for our children anyway, we want to get it right. See? All right. So, anything else, Joshua?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I forgot one other thing. Also on the council, also a personal thank you to Father Allen's wife, who made garments and also made the meeches for us.
Right.
All right. Say thank you.
And the sisters that every time the feast days come around, they set up, you know, Hanukkah, all the feast days, tabernacles, they in there putting in work. Ali Yashiba, she has the crew, Ronzalo's wife, Wadi is with her, and the sister, my youngest with her. They keep their head, the Hanukkah decorated. You know, every time a feast day come through, they always put work in. And then for us to have food there, the brother that cooks for us, two brothers always, I mean, we have food, but they gonna make sure that we have food for the feast. That's Kodash. Stand up for a minute, bro. She's standing in the back, right at the door. You can't miss him at all good. So they make sure we eat.
I want to say one thing now before we go.
Okay.
I want to say this here. Now that we're here, right? What went down tonight, take note, take heed. All right? What we read was history. History is very important. All right? History is very important. No nation of people ever forgets their history. They always remember history. The so-called Jew, let's say he's Jewish. What's his main motto? We will never forget. All right? They will never forget the Holocaust. And they make sure they push it in our face every year, all over. They'll never forget what happened in the Holocaust. But we're the only people that want to forget what happened to us.
Gone.
We got to remember our history. Our history is in the Bible. All right? That's our history. Don't forget that. We have a great history, and we must return back to the Most High and acknowledge the Most High and His truth. Right? The Most High said, my people, which are called by my name, return back unto me. Humble himself and pray unto him. He said he will heal the land, and he will return our captivity. That's the problem we're not doing. We try to make every excuse. Well, because I ain't got no money. Well, because I have no education. The Most High don't care about that. What the Most High cares is that we return back unto his law. The Most High said return back unto the old path that he gave us. That's what we have to return back unto. Then the Most High said everything else will be added unto you. The Most High says it's a small thing to make a man rich. How did Solomon become rich? Because he asked for wisdom and knowledge and understanding. And the Most High said, because of that, Solomon, I'm going to give you your heart's desire. And Solomon was the greatest king that ever lived, with wisdom and knowledge and riches. And that was just a small example of what the Most High was showing us is going to happen to us in the future. The Most High is going to give us riches. He's going to give back our name, our dignity. Everything that we lost is going to be given back to us. But it's only one stipulation. We must return back unto the Most High. Say shalom. Come on, Jamaica. Come on, Jamaica. Come on, Jamaica. Come on.
So, say shalom, brothers and sisters. And it's 7 minutes to 12. It's a good feast day. Remember, it's a week of unleavened, so we take it serious, as what Ben said. Humble yourself, do what the Most High requires of us. Because as what Barak said too, we don't have long live in America. And I know none of us Hebrews will want to have long live in America. Can? So just do the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High.